What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to talk about the topic that has been really grinding my gears, and also I want to do the Merry Carnival event with you guys, so we'll do that together. We are going to do a very interesting approach to this, a mid-spender approach that still will grant a small loot than probably even a big event, and that is also kind of the topic of today, because I am annoyed with those big events. You know, something like the Mid-Autumn Festival that was just announced, in my opinion, just doesn't pack the same punch it used to. Well, what am I referring to? Well, kinda in the past we had those big events too. I mean, they've always been around, but usually they were the ones that granted you the big progress. When there was, for example, the Celestial Island, when that was released, you were going into that, and for the first time ever there were the Master 2 boxes in there, which I still think was like a better way to include them, but it gave them high value. That was the point. And also you got the biggest drops of the Celestial Island materials ever in there. I remember the Christmas event where you got like 2 million of every Celestial Island material, which put you way ahead in terms of level as anybody else. And really those were quite insane. And nowadays, I mean, which materials are you really looking forward to? To an extent, certainly Star Soul, that is true, but mostly at the moment the biggest hype and I think the biggest power is in the Primal Grimoire. If you don't have your Grimoire leveled up, you can get a ton of stats from that. Just take a look at that, 60 million fixed attack and 10.08 billion fixed HP, absolutely massive. And then of course we have the sigils. Some of them are truly crazy. For example, Star Expedition, 758% skill damage, count me in for that, and this one can still be improved. Or for PvP, we have Interdimensional, I have all damage reduction here, but the main ones that are really insane are the speed ones. 348 speed, and that's just a purple one. Imagine what you can get on a red one. That is absolutely insane, and you will outspeed your opponents there. So those are really the two things that give high value. Now there is a little problem. Well, if we check out the event tomorrow, which we got the patch notes right here, new update and everything. Don't want to go over every single piece here. Daily rewards, who cares? Sky Labyrinth got updated. I think it's really good. It's a good change. Happy that they upgrade them. Happy that they finally include more hero slots in here. Absolutely great. Have been waiting for that. Soul Hammer into events should have been there for an eternity, in my opinion. So all good. Don't want to say anything negative about that. Wishing Fountain, well, whatever. Mysterious Chest now also with an upgrade, which I also think is great. Same for the hammers in there again. Some sign-in book event. Okay, cool. You can keep it. Goal rewards. Those have kind of become a thing where you get like some whatever rewards. Like really, oftentimes there are some things that stick out to me. Those are some sigil pages. Those are cool. I guess Stella is nice. The extra slots, you have the treasure that is there for the respective event in there. If that one is good, then probably, I mean, those goal rewards are good. If those are like, I don't know, Star Expedition, all damage dealt treasures, wait, great, I take it, I guess. If those aren't great though, which is probably 80% of the events, if we are honest, well then those events aren't too great. For the next one, they are apparently for Void Campaign, and we can take a look at what the last ones were for Void Campaign. So Festival Treasures 2025, they have the same design failure as the Festival Treasures before that, as in once the year ends they will be pretty tough to come by, so still hate Festival Treasures to an extent, but those here were the last ones that we got for Void Campaign. We got Control Immunity Offset here, 20% attack, 30% HP, those don't really scale too well, and also, I mean, well, kinda if we take a look at the total stuff, when you are at least a whale, I guess it's always a little bit of a different perspective if you are a new player and have like those are your first treasures, well then they have a bit more impact. But if they are thrown on a pile of such as the ones that I have right here, we already have 1 or 2% HP increase, 68% attack increase, and then we come into the regular stats. And then Void Campaign, they have done so many Void Campaign treasures already that, well, a little bit of Control Immunity Offset, sure, it does change a little bit, but really at some point you just don't need a whole lot more if you got your Stars one set up and everything. So really we can debate whether or not those even had an impact. And considering that, well, you are not too hyped as a whale to get those treasures. Sure, you take them, but that's about it. And considering those are implemented here as like the key loot, And if they don't really have like a huge impact, those aren't really too, well, hype generating, I should say. The rest of the loot in here, well, we get 10 cores. It's okay. But on the whale account, you don't notice that. Same for the sublimation materials. Core, you probably don't even need. 6 pulls, well, great. And so it's a little bit of mid loot overall. And the treasure tickets, of course, are for those treasures, which once again, if they are bad, well, what's the point? And then you come to stuff, Mooncake Connoisseur side event, again, carry through the treasure. Moon Ceremony. Okay, you get some chests there. It's not a whole lot, so I'll just skip over that, honestly. One thing that we talked about a little bit on the Idlers discussion chat was, well, the monster tickets are kind of never implemented really into events. You mostly get them in such chests at the side of the sigil pages, which in that situation, the sigil pages are obviously more value, leaving you, when you want the monster tickets, to either go and buy them for CSG or to whale on them, which, well, they are heavily expensive. They are super expensive. They have the same price as normal treasure tickets, while really granting you only access to all damage dealt treasures for a monster, which isn't really too great. And the monster update itself, in my opinion, is a failure. But we can talk about it in another video. That will be a video on its own, because we are getting more monsters, which is crazy to me. But we're going to talk about that. So really, you always get single pages, you never get the monster tickets, and they aren't given to you as a sole reward. And the single pages itself are only given to you in those chests, which you can never buy from the main part of the event, where we come to in a second. Those, by the way, middle part bonus rewards here with the chest is pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but this is super low resolution. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I don't know who made this. Let's scroll down here. Let's quickly get away from this. This is the main culprit. Mysterious Sales. Has started off as a great event. Honestly, was quite cool. When we first got this, I was like, oh, that's a ton of loot that you get. You have all your floors. You have 12 floors in this. And every floor will give you some rewards. Some better, some a little bit worse. You can get yourself some origin chests. You can get yourself some sublimation materials. Most of the time, like half the treasure floors will give you something rather crappy. Most of the time you have some Stella or something. So they reward you with some general resources, which isn't too great. And the main problem really wasn't there when this was released. When this was released, and we got the first Mysterious Sale, what was the main thing that you were hunting at? And keep in mind, I'm looking at it now from the perspective of a whale. Those things are vastly different for somebody, for example, that has a less established account and goes into this for the first time. I'm looking at it from the perspective of a whale that has almost everything, and mostly is looking for what? Well, for the newest power creep. The newest power creep is really what we are after. And the newest power creep at the moment, as we just saw, is Grimoire, which is only present in the first loop on stage 7, right here, and on stage 10, over here. And afterwards, you can see it is not in here. We don't get it right here, 8 to 9, nothing there. So it's only 7 and 10. We get 2 places with the rewards. Afterwards, it becomes 1 and 3. On the regular rounds, which is a little bit easier to achieve, but still, nonetheless, you can see 1 entire completion gives us 2 Grimoire stuff. If you want to get 4 Grimoire drops, we need to do like the second completion, or at least go to stage 3. If we want to go for 6 Grimoire drops, which is possible, we need to get into the 3rd round of Mysterious Sales and go to stage 3 there. At that point, you spend about 800 USD on the event. You get a bunch of crap loot that you honestly don't really need. Oftentimes, you have to stick, and this is not represented in this graphic, oftentimes you have to stick to discounted packs on the first go through, because, well, you need the points to later on get to the floors that you need. Otherwise you would need to whale more, or it becomes outright impossible. So oftentimes if you see something like such a nice chest or something like that, you can't even take it. Oftentimes you find yourself taking the Stella because it is discounted and takes less of the material that is used in the Mysterious Sales in that respective event. So you go out with quite a lot of bad loot, and, well, a very little amount of the target loot that you really farm. And that is something that I noticed. And I was asking myself, well, why do you want to spend 800 USD on such an event? And really, I couldn't come up with an answer. There is no reason, there is nothing. And I was asking myself, why was it worth it before? And the answer is here. Surprise gift. it was worth it because of the surprise gift. Because what is in here? We got the Star Soul materials, which were like the top things. And occasionally they still are. If they're releasing new Star Soul, that can be really good. If the Star Soul is good, then this is high value. But often it isn't. Then we have some DT materials. Well, I don't really need them anymore. I get some, and it is fine. I will at some point hit the cap. I already have the highest amount of Nirvana heroes that I can get. So this is really like not that great. And then we have some sublimation materials. You honestly always need them, but they drop, well, everywhere really. And I have like a stockpile. So yeah, it's really not the point. Of course, you get during the first event when the hero is released as a whale. And then really you don't really need them, and you get still some thrown behind you, which is kind of horrible. So the point is, what have they not done? Well, they haven't included Grimoire in this. They haven't included the newest power creep in this. There is no selection that I can say, oh, I want 25 sigil pages instead, or I want 25 monster tickets instead, or I want Grimoire materials, any of those instead. It just didn't make it into surprise gift. And obviously, at the time it was released, the latest power mechanic was in there. Now, well, a whole while later, this is no longer the case. This part didn't get updated, and I guess it is intentional because obviously they went over it to include it in the lower stages, but they didn't go so far as to put it in a surprise gift. And this substantially lowers the amount of Grimoire materials that you can acquire from such an event, because otherwise it would be 3 per completion. Now it's only 2. So this makes a huge difference, and it gets crazy compared to the current event. So let's get into this event. Let me show you why I say it's crazy. So first of all, I was supposed to have 14 of those tickets. I missed 2 days. I was sick on one day. I don't know what happened to the other. Didn't work out. I had 14. Per ticket that you use, you get one of those pointed flags. So this is like the main thing. And then you can buy certain packs and you can do some stuff to get more. First of all, the things that you can do to get more. The easiest thing to get more is to just go in here, spend 20k gems, gives you 20 rewards. 20 tickets is honestly pretty crazy, because what that allows you to get is actually basically a whole lot of things that you would want. Not just some artifact chests that, by the way, fun fact, those actually include all the new artifacts. But it's not worth it. There's cooler stuff. For example, this chest. This is a Grimoire chest with like all the Grimoire essence and everything. It costs 18 of those flags. Granted, you need a few of those flags, but this will be possible. We'll see that. And you can get up to 6. So for 18,000 gems, you just get a Grimoire chest. Congratulations, that is absolutely insane loot. And now you would say, well, it's a limit of 6. What does that mean? Can you even cap it? Well, let me show you. You can get a few more tickets right here. You have to unlock it through a pack for that. We'll see that this is possible. You also get a few of those single pages chests and a fancy buck, apparently. It's pretty cool. Then there are more in here, and I don't really want to go over the details, but let me tell you what the packs give you. So those packs unlock extra rewards. The first one here, the privilege menu, is from the sign-in book event. The sign-in book event was the first one that we saw, when I can find it, this one, where you get the bottom rewards then. So you get a nice amount of sigil pages, you get the extra amount of tickets. The tickets that you get from it are 10 extra tickets, so that is not too bad. You have 14 from the start, from the daily lock-in. You get another 20 for 20k gems. Then you can get the daily lock-in, which is another 10. So this already would put you at 44, which is not bad. Those are 2 of those Grimoire chests plus a little bit extra. So not bad. What does the rest of those packs really give you? Well, depending on the amount of profit ops you spent, and you can see to max this out if we scroll to the bottom, and this menu somehow lags like a lot. You need to spend 640 profit ops. If you are able to do that, if you can do that, you get all of the loot in here, which is pretty fancy because there's also a ton of transition material in here. But on top of that, you have 9 tickets right here, and you get another 10 from the 640 profit ops. Then we have the second pack, the third pack in that sense, where you have 21 in there. You get another 20 from the packs itself. And then we have 30 over here, and you get another 30 from the 640 profit ops again. So total that you can spend here is 210 USD, and that in combination with 20k gems logging in daily, and also 640 profit ops would put you at 180 of those flags and all of those tickets. And as we said, every single time you use a ticket, you get a flag. So you have 180 flags at the end, meaning you can go ahead and you can buy every single one of those chests, and you have 4 more that you can buy. You can buy 10 rewards from this shop. And this is only for the pointed flags. We still have the striped flags, and we can use those as well because we'll drop those. And this includes stuff like sigil pages, and this includes some stuff that is even crazier because you saw there are 2 pink chests here. Well, this is a festival treasure chest, and so is this one. This will give you festival treasures, and this is crazy because this gives you encapsulated memories. This is the crit damage festival treasure from 2023. This is one of the most OP treasures in the game that will give you a ton of power. That is this one. Transcendence Hero. Every single Transcendence Hero plus 50.7% crit damage. Completely crazy treasure from Festival Treasure 2023. Definitely something that you would want. On top of that, there is also the Holy Damage one that also is 50.7, and you can get those from this event just as a side loot, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. And then, I mean, we kind of forgot about 4 rewards that you can still pick with the pointed flags because we kept at 6 and we have 180 of those flags, so we can get 10. So what else do we want to buy? I mean, there is certainly the Lux Tree of Origin with the 90k sublimation materials, or what we can do, and what is also in the realm of the possible transition material, or this wonderful last chest, which is a Star Soul chest with Star Souls and everything. So you can get another 4 Star Soul rewards from that. And this is for spending 210 USD. In fact, and this is the completion that we are going to do, I can spend 110 USD on this event, and I can cap out the Grimoire drops from this. So I can get 6 of those Grimoire chests, and we are going to do this, for just spending 110 USD, 640 profit orbs, 20k gems. This is possible. And we just talked about what we have to do on the other event for this. It is about 800 USD spent on the other event. 800 versus 110. And that was the point where I said, well, if you are whale, and if you are mainly targeting those hyper-specific rewards, well then, you're really getting a bad deal with those big events. Those big events are for the people that say, well, I have to be number 1 on top with everything and have to have the max amount of possible Grimoire materials that I can get. But if you just want to have, well, a good deal and a good amount of Grimoire materials, turns out those small events are often better. And I feel like that is not what the Age intended. I feel like those big events are supposed to be, yes, for a whale rather expensive, but at the same time also very much so rewarding. And I feel that the Age has basically now the same problem that they had with the regular events with stuff like Im's Adventure, where we just saw that they refreshed the loot. It's now kind of the same with the big events at the time, where I feel too many of the power creep mechanics, too many of the things like sigil pages and Grimoire materials are missing at critical points in the event, and making it so that an event that is supposed to entice players to spend becomes a money pitfall that is no longer worth doing in any way, shape or form. I don't see myself doing that. We did those huge completions going for 6 Grimoire materials and more. I see myself now going for maybe 1 completion. Maybe we do 1 completion and like the first 3 slots, which doesn't grant a whole lot of loot, but it grants me 4 Grimoire materials and will be infinitely cheaper than going for the max. So, like, maxing out those events for the way it's really a bad deal now. Let's check out this event now. This is a very cooler event than the other one. For the packs, I want to go for the $10 pack, Xsolar coupons once again. This will give us the sign-in bonus, so we get some nice sigil pages. And I want to go for the 100 USD pack, where we get the smash here as well and the double loot. And of course, this is also the unupdated event, the factory. So this is very, very cool actually, because we now also get some very nice rewards in here. In the exchange store, we now also have soul hammers. We have some tickets, which is pretty good. The pages of destiny. And my space gems, we get 100 slots, which is pretty nice. So that is very, very cool. And this time around, I think I will take the monster cultivation chest. Just in case any of the new monsters turns out to be great, then we have a lot of materials for it. So that will be pretty nice. And yeah, profit sum event. is once again, well, is for the new hero Basilisk, which is going to become a Transcendence hero in the next event. So that will be interesting. Let's start off. Let's do a quick profit sum. Where are we going to go? Is Basilisk already in here? Basilisk is in here. Let's acquire a few copies of Basilisk. I think that should be a nice thing to do. So 640. Well, we got the ticks. I don't mind the ticks. Ticks is pretty cool. Maybe I should put in a little bit of an endpoint there. What do I want the age now to do? I kind of missed that. I kind of went into the event a little bit too fast because I want to do it actually. It's a cool event. I kind of want the age to upgrade those big events. I feel like we need to get progress on the power creep mechanic. Sometimes this is the case. Sometimes there is a side event that kind of saves it. But I think we should go out with a bunch of pages of Destiny. We should go out with a bunch of Grimoire materials. And it should not cost 800 USD just to get the 5th and the 6th reward if it's so easy on a small event. If it's so much easier to get those big rewards on a small event, like the one that we are currently running, well, then what's the point in the big events? Because there's so much loot in there that you just don't need as a whale. Well, then it doesn't really make sense. It's no fun either. And they should seriously rethink this approach of filling up the event with those treasures for the festival. It can't be carried just by the festival treasures. In very rare circumstances, that is the case, that this is possible. If there are Star Expedition treasures, which they recently, in a kind of fall of despair, I think, implemented into the game, then of course people will whale for it. But sooner or later, a 10% all damage dealt boost for Star Expedition isn't going to cut it, and it's not going to spark player interest. So they seriously have to rethink their approach. And I think they've kind of burned the format a little bit of mysterious sales. I saw today in chat that a lot of people thought that this format, is no longer really the thing that I want to see. So it might be that DH had this now and might have to rethink if they want to put it again into an event. Basilisk, there we go. Didn't seriously expect us to drop a copy there. We got a bunch of 5 stars actually. That's a pretty good pull. Basilisk. I'm going to overdo it again with the profit sums. Ithaca. Have to make an Ithaca video. And in regards to making videos, people were questioning me, Wraec, you didn't do videos. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Then I looked at my channel and I was like, well, it didn't make one for like 10 days, 11 days. And I was a little bit often, whoops. The reason was partly that I was struggling a little bit to set my account up in a proper way for a video because I wanted to do an LDA video. But at the same time, they did the Void Campaign release and I wanted to push Void Campaign a little bit. Then I got annoyed by Void Campaign, wanted to make a video about it, but then FTA started again, so I had to set up for that, and then it all turned out that I didn't really have time to make a video. And on top of that, new season in AFK Journey. Check out the channel, by the way. Main channel, you all know it. It is pretty fancy. We got a pretty nice season going. Got a lot of content there. So if you care for AFK Journey, definitely check it out. I definitely did some nice videos there. So I'm pretty happy about it. So might be something you want to check out. We have to complete that. Fantasy Factory I will do later. It's not that interesting. Let's get into the Merry Carnival now. We have 86 tickets already. We can buy another 20 right here, giving us 106. Then we still have to claim that. Those are all from the $10 pack, which is also a bunch of tickets. And we also get the deluxe gift box. How many deluxe gift boxes do we have right now? 20. So that's pretty cool. As I said, yeah, we have the normal Monster Treasure coupons in there and we have the Pages of Destiny. And then you always go for the Pages of Destiny. And every time I collect some Pages of Destiny, have to think about the arena because, well, they did an update there too a while back. And now weekly you can buy a few of those wonderful hearts, the Radiant Soul Crystal. You can also buy 3 Pages of Destiny and you can buy 3 treasure tickets. And I tend to forget about that. By the way, I had like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, I don't know, a ton of those coins here. And then I went into the, and I thought this one belonged to the row here with the ones that have like a cap at 3. And I was just like clicking, bam, and buying myself a ton of Course of Transcendence, which I mean, I don't regret. I don't regret it because a ton of Course of Transcendence is definitely good. But yeah, so it doesn't limit me, so it's not a problem. So how many do we have? 116 right now. And if you calculate it, 18 times 6, that brings us to 108. So that means that we are actually 8 above what we would need to cap out the Grimoire drops, which is pretty cool. So this is 6 Grimoire drops for 20k gems, 110 USD, and 640 profit drops. So fairly easy. The point reward stuff that we have right here, and you can see 6 points is that, 7 points is that, yada yada yada, a ton of different points. This stuff doesn't really influence the amount of primal Grimoire or the amount of Grimoire stuff that we get. It's just for the other rewards. So we want to max it out so that we get a ton of other rewards. Specifically, we're aiming for festival treasures, obviously. Those are like the ones that I really want to have because those are really big value. With the pointed flags, obviously we want to get the material selection chest, and in second level I would go for the Star Soul upgrade, and extra flags obviously go towards the course, which is a little bit bad, but on the other hand, okay, what's that? Deluxe resource selection chest. I mean, it's bad value, shouldn't get it. It's better at least, I guess, than 100k gold. Can somebody explain to me this ratio? 100k gold or you get one of those chests? I mean, you always go for the chest, either if you don't have the guild treasures max, you go for guild coin, or you go for stellar. So it's like obvious. I don't really know. So how do you do this one? Well, for this one, there is a wonderful calculator at hackhim.github.io. I'll put you the link down in the description. We'll do it together one time. I haven't done it in quite a while. Double smash? I didn't know there was a smash feature. I'm exploring it here with you. Multi-smash will be available after obtaining 80 celebration tickets, and a higher multiplier will be unlocked for every 80 celebration tickets obtained. Well, the question is, what does a smash do? It's probably bad, because we can be good at this event actually. This is a skill event, so I would actually do this manually. So the numbers that you really want are obviously the ones that give you the high drops. 6 is the result of obviously 1, 2, and 3. Those fields include the numbers between 1 and 9. So we have 1 here, and what we want to have is 2 and 3 to get to 6, or we want to have one of the other high value combinations. Combination getting us to 8 is pretty good. And you can see it's not like the lower the better and the higher the better. There are some, for example, the 7 is pretty low compared to the 8. And we can kind of calculate it down the way. And then we have 24, which is also pretty good. 24 is, of course, the highest possible combination. So 9, 8, and 7. The shape that you're going for, and we can get another 3 remaining attempts, is you want to go for a Y shape. So we can go like this. This is 1 and 8. So this is pretty bad. We can check out here. We have 9 and 8, and we could check this one now to see if this was actually good, because 9, 8 is of course one for the highest value combination. Usually you would go for the Y, because that would give you the most amount of tries and the most amount of intel on every single number. For this one, because we have like 2 ways that this could actually be high value right here. First of all, we have 9, 8. We could see if this is a 7. If this is a 7, this is of course the obvious pick. If this is a 3 or 2, then I would go for this this row to see if this is actually high value. We can pick this now. It's a 6 actually. So 9, 8, 6. This would be 23. 23 is probably the best that we can get. The reason for that is we can't get 1, 2, 3 anymore, because 1 is in a row with 8 and 6, so this is out. So 1, 2, 3 is impossible anymore. And this is 9, 8, 6, so 9, 8, 7 is no longer possible, meaning that we also can't get any of the lower ones anymore. So 840 is actually really the highest combination that we can go for, meaning we will click on this to get this. And in this one it was checking, so this was nice. And then we can go again for the Y combination. Let's check it. We'll do this clean one more time. So now we have different things. This can't be 987 because 8 is there. So what can it be? And now we don't really know. And that's the reason we have a calculator. And see, we have 8, 5, 7, 9. Let's type that in. So 8, 5, 7, and 9. So this is what we basically get. And the way this works is basically this calculator goes and calculates the average of the ones that are in here, as far as I know. So the higher value a row is potentially, the better this actually is. So We have on this one 184. So the possible combinations or the possible numbers that can result in this, the average is 184, can be 22, 19, 17, 20, and 18. And the average is 184. On the other one, it's 91. So we only have like low results here. The highest possible peak result would be an 8 over here. This is only possible if we get 1 and 2 here. So what you can do is either you go for the highest average, which I would usually recommend, or you go for peak. If you really want to gamble, you go for peak. So you can go for the 630 and just say, okay, this is the highest possible result that I can get. And I will go for this. This one has the highest average. So this means the average of those results is better, meaning more often than not, you will get a better result by picking this one. And I will go for the highest average every single day. So we can do this right now. Let's compare it. So I'm not cheating here or anything at all, obviously. This one was the one with the highest average. This one had the highest peak, the one right next to it. Let's see if we were right. So this is 967. We got 420. Actually can't really see it. Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, the 3 and the 1 were here. So this one was 2 and some other number. I don't really want to think about it. Wait, which one is missing? We had 958. This is 3, 1, 2, 7. Okay, we also can't see this one. Oh, what? We can't see the average. We can see what it is. This is 2, 5, and result is 11. So this is a 4. The resulting 11 would have granted us, and this was also something that was seen, 34. So we actually, and this is crazy, we rolled the lowest one on this one. And this is the way you approach this. So now essentially what you just do is you just go ahead, you see your page, you have like the 5, we have the 8, nothing fancy going on here, 6 over here, we go for the Y again. Now we have 6, 3, 8, 5. Again, we reset, 6, 3, 8, 5. Let's see if we did it correctly. 6, 3, 8, 5 is correct. And then we once again check. We have a 392 average actually on this one from the 1068 because a 6 is possible over here. Highest average and highest peak is both in there. So I would say we just go for the bottom line and hope the best. Let's see if that result is actually good. And I mean, it doesn't guarantee you that you are doing well. It just helps you. So yeah, we got not destroyed. 202 is one of the higher ones. We just didn't get the best one. And then again, 4. I just want to click on this. It actually didn't work. And that is just the way you approach it. So 3. I guess probably this row is going to be the highest value. And yeah, it's 253 because the 1680 is in here once again. This one isn't too bad with the 197. We can try this out. So this row with the 3 once again. Let's see if we are lucky. 326. That is bad. And yeah, so you have to do this 112 times. Double smash is worthless. So yeah, I'm going to skip ahead. Because I'm now going to sit here for quite a while and do this, I guess. And it's the last day of the event, so I don't have a choice. 112 times. Crazy. Okay, turns out the Smash feature is actually good. What it does is it doubles your ticket consumption and doubles the loot. So you can see I got 3,360 of the flags right here, which is pretty crazy because it's 1, 2, 3. And obviously usually that grants only 1,680. But with the Smash, doubles the ticket consumption. Smash gets unlocked after obtaining a certain number of tickets, so it's described in here. And yeah, then you just play the game normally. Just doubles the loot. So this really works well. This is pretty good. And yeah, you can get a high amount of loot just like that. Back to back. Crazy. I will do the rest for you guys. Oh, that's insane. Okay, we're on the last one, or last 2, I should say. Again, we're going with the Y formation. Some of those have been really horrible. A lot have been nice. 2-1 probably going to be the upper row. Let me quickly verify with the calculator over here. 4, 6. Okay, what do we have here? Yeah, it is the upper row with an average of 513. The lowest we can get is a 34 or 42 drop, highest 1686 and a 30. So this one is definitely the best. Let's hope we see a 3 over here, because that would be absolutely perfect. The 5 is fine as well. So, and you remember we get the double loot. So let's see what we can get here. Ah, an 8. What the hell? That is the lowest possible one. That is an 11 total. A 34 that gets doubled to 68. So yeah, that one was horrible. But now we have 40,000 of those flags, 116 of the other. And I would say we check this out. We have to use some of the flags before we actually get into there. I haven't really made plans for that yet. So what do we start with? So we need 1,250 flags used to get into that one. 1,250. So what do we do for that? Is there anything small we can buy? Ah, wait. I actually just considering if we go for like, do we need like the perfect match? Is that something that has an advantage? Because obviously we can buy stuff right here, but if we just want to reach 1,250, it might just be better to save up a little bit and go for a perfect match over here. So does this really make a difference? So we can buy a cap of 8 on those. If we divide this by 7,500, obviously that's 15, that's 30, 37.5. So if we buy a big drop, we could buy something for 2,500, that would be fine. And I want to go for the orange chest, by the way. 2,500 would be fine. That would be a festival skin selection chest in this case. I would say we just do that. I would say we just do that, and then with the pointed flags, I just buy the orange ones. I think for most people those will be the best because of the treasures we've just shown. And as we are fine buying something for 2,500, I will just go ahead and do so. Of course, if we wait a little bit more, we might have had more overall. But considering we didn't do that, yeah, we are now pretty free to buy 3, 4, 5 of those chests, which is very, very nice. This unlocked all of the loot that we can buy here. And now we can go ahead and buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of those chests. We have another 8 flags remaining. So another possibility that you could go ahead and do right now is, of course, to go ahead and spend a little bit more. If I went ahead and I had like all of the ones from lock-in, I will now not have 8 but 12, which still wouldn't get me a reward, so it didn't really make a difference in the end. If I would fully max out this event, it would have made a difference. It would have been 10 drops. I can now only get 9, which is why I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to wait. In the next event, I get enough Star Soul materials to conveniently max out the remaining Star Soul that I have. We have the deluxe gift box over here. Oh, that was a little bit of an error, wasn't it? I mean, I don't mind that we spend the flags on the chests with the old festival treasures, because obviously we can still go ahead and get Pages of Destiny any single day. But nonetheless, I would have kind of liked to have those, I'll be honest. I would kind of like to have those 20 over here. That is kind of sad. I was thinking about like just going ahead and getting the 30 USD pack too. Just getting that. Because obviously this is going to give us another huge boost of like the tickets. In terms of tickets, according to the event analysis, of course, on the Idle Heroes discussion Discord, this would be 19 tickets. That's not a whole lot. 19 tickets. So we would probably have been able to buy that. But on the other hand, let's relax. Let's just not buy that. It's okay. We have another 8 flags here remaining. It's just that it's kind of a final decision if you spend those on the course, which you should. I mean, in the end, you should spend them on the course. I'll do that later, I guess. But the main thing is we got like a ton of resources. We got a heck of a ton of resources. Look at that. If we spend that as like a free-to-play, as a low spender, and we got ourselves 6 times that. Keep in mind how insane it is. 8.4 million Grimoire material. Throw that on a Grimoire book. Get yourself like a cheap A tier or something. Maybe even throw some soul power on that. and you have yourself a hero with millions and millions of attack. It's an absolute madness. We're doing something different. We're actually going to do this. It's going to be quite the boost here to not our HHA, but to our SSM. So this is like the main part. Oh my god, this is going to eat like a ton of 9 stars. Okay, we are back. Let's see. I had to build 6 9 stars. It was so annoying. 10 stars we should still have. So that should not be a problem. And yeah, you obviously want to go up to the E5 here. So that's like the main thing. And you want to get yourself the E5 tier 2 upgrade. The E5 tier 3 upgrade we don't even want. Or do we want that? Wait a second. No, that's the HP and attack. We don't really want that. No, we are done here. So we have 2 extra. So we are done on this one because this one already gave us the enhanced balance strike. So this is like pretty insane damage if we use that. And this one also gave us the enhanced stuff. The last one is always just like this HP 5.5%, attack 4%. I would show you the damage, but it's like this very inconvenient stage here, where basically my SSM at the moment, which bloody team was that? Or is there an LTA in there? I don't even know. Basically dies to like one singular SSM Wraec CC. And I was kind of thinking, okay, let's just get burn immunity on the guy who obviously didn't have the hammers. So this actually doesn't change anything in regards to our damage. So it's completely useless, I guess. At the moment, and yeah, and then this happens. So yeah, that doesn't really help right now. If we get burn immunity or holy armor on the guy, then this is like a major thing. But yeah, this was the pointless upgrade for this stage at least. But other than that, it's a pretty good damage. I don't yet know what we are going to do with the other 2 that we just got. They don't have a reset function at the moment. You have to regress the hero to actually get those orbs away off the hero. So really regress, not like the stuff we did before where you went to evolution cope and did like the replace and replace back. You have to use this regress function and completely regress the hero, which kills your stones, to get those back. So it's really, really annoying. So I don't really know. They want you to upgrade every single hero on your team. Maybe I go for IHP. Maybe I go for something else, I don't know yet. Maybe you can make some suggestions down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead, tell me your opinion on big events there. And then I would just ask you to say like, hey, I'm a low spender. Just like from your own perspective. Are you a low spender, mid spender? What are you? What would you say? And then you just go ahead and say whether or not you like those events and what you like and maybe what you don't like. That's some of the way I would appreciate it, really. If you say you are a whale and you still think that was so great, okay, cool. For me personally, it's just not targeted enough. There's just too much stuff on there that I get thrown on with where I say, okay, cool. I just don't really need it in the end. So I think the H has some work to do in that regard. Other than that, I would say I wish you guys a great day. I will see us in the next time. And also hit that subscribe button, by the way.